Hello, everybody. Hey, we are back. Your DFS Army NBA Tournament Strategy Show. Today, we will do a quick look back at yesterday, see what went well, what we could have done a little bit better, and then we will dig deeper into this slate. Just do a quick little walkthrough of who's looking good, who's popping early, and then later today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have the pre-lock show, which is the main show you want to watch because we have been hitting gold, striking gold on that show. That is for VIP members only. You can become a VIP member by clicking the link in the description. Use the promo code BOB for a 10% discount on that subscription to DFS Army. I believe that's everything. I think we're good to go. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So yeah, let's jump into yesterday's slate. DFS Army crushed. Like they did super duper well. I did okay. My top score was 330. I did fine. But I was more excited. We had multiple members hit four figures. I know my guy Don Juan had a solid, had some really good lineups in there. Dustin, who's in the chat, he had a very nice, profitable night. I know he hit fourth place. We had multiple guys hit four figures in their contests. I know Ken Starr, a few other guys. What I'm saying is DFS Army crushed last night. The Nuts lineup last night had Maxey, Beasley, Richardson, Giannis, Mobley, Brunson, Portis, and Portal. Let's walk through this. So Tyrese Maxey, he was in my player pool. I didn't boost him though, but it definitely helped having him in the pool. Malik Beasley came out of nowhere. I think a lot of people like Jordan Clarkson yesterday, but Malik Beasley off the bench crushed. That was a little bit of a shocker. Josh Richardson, he was one of the guys that we did boost yesterday on the pre-lock show. He crushed. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he was one of the guys that we boosted yesterday. We were really heavy on him. Evan Mobley, he was in the player pool. He did well. Jalen Brunson, he was in the player pool. He crushed yesterday. Bobby Portis, he was in the player pool. We didn't boost him. We did talk about him a little bit yesterday, though, as we were going through the slate. He was someone that we mentioned that they might just need more yesterday in that matchup. Jokic, you're right, Dustin. Jokic crushed as well. And he was in the player pool. And then Jakob Portal was also in the pool. So yeah, long story short, DFS Army crushed yesterday. Should have been there, should have been on the ride. If not, then hopefully today is your day. And hopefully today is our day. Like, strike while the fire's hot. Let's keep it up. So let's go ahead and jump right into nice Don Juan. Yeah, Brunson was a fantastic boost yesterday. I know. I feel like we've been using Tyrese Maxey for so freaking long, and then he finally has his explosion day. I'm glad we left him in the player pool. We didn't like X him out or anything, but man, yesterday, another mistake I made yesterday was I played too much Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk was my downfall. I was way too high on him. But again, ultimately, yesterday was a good day. So yeah, let's start off with this first game. We have the Mavs versus the Nets. So everyone's talking about Ben Simmons, right? Everyone's like, hey, why is Ben Simmons popping? Why is everyone talking about him? Again, it's still early, so its ownership will probably change some. Are we playing Ben Simmons today, guys? It's tough. So at his price point, he's playable. He's not a must play or anything like that. We'll dig into it a little bit later, but I think to play Ben Simmons, he needs to either double-double or triple-double, ideally triple-double. Like, you want him to score points. That's really the only way I would play him. So he's not a slam dunk play. He's just a solid play. He's in play. I'm not going to X him out. I know everyone else is, and that's fine. But in these close matchups, there's quite a few studs on the slate. I think Doncic's definitely the most expensive at 12,000. And it's going to, I mean, Doncic is the best stud on the slate. And that's not really much of a question. It's just going to be on a 4-game slate. Are we going to pay up for Doncic, or are we going to go for more of a balanced build on the slate? We also have Mr. DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't really target him a ton unless Doncic is out. Spencer Dinwiddie, we were on last time out, and he had a great game. I don't know if I'm going to target him today in this matchup. Joe Harris has been back, hasn't really done great or much with it. This game, what's the total? 225. It's a decent game. I'm probably going to try to target more of the studs from this game, like probably some Luka, KD, Irving, maybe. Irving's price has gone up, I think. I think I'm probably going to stick with that round and probably have a little bit of Ben Simmons to balance it out. We'll see if anyone else starts popping later today, but not the most exciting game for DFS, but should be fun to watch. I do like the idea of, I'm more open to playing like a Luka Doncic or Kevin Durant in a tighter spread game because it should be closer. Ben Simmons will have to be 3,700 for me to play him. I get it. No Ben for Don Juan. I get it. Dylan Brooks is popping. All right. Haven't gotten there yet, but we'll see. Don Juan is SGA / Morant night for me with some Doncic. Yeah, I think that's the most optimal way of playing tonight. Those are definitely the studs that is the smarter way to try to break things up on this slate. I was mentioning some of the other studs is just pivots, some GPP plays, some guys you might want to pivot to off of these guys. But I think you're thinking about it the right way. Next game up, Clippers versus the Thunder. SGA came back last game and crushed. We'll see how he does this game. The Clippers should be a tougher matchup for him, for SGA. The thing is, Josh Giddey is still out, and so that usage rate is still amplified a little bit. With Giddey out, we even saw like Dort, Trey Mann, other guys like that, their usage go up a little bit. We saw Aaron Wiggins have a solid game last time out as well. I think all these guys are going to be in play. To what extent, we'll see a little bit later on, but I think all of them will be in play. I already see Don Ware talking about the Powell fade. I think everyone assumes Paul George will be back today, which makes Norman Powell an easier fade. Powell has absolutely in no world should he be going off today or tonight. He should not have a strong performance in any world or in any scenario. We know his usage rate is crap. All he does is run back and forth on the court. There's no reason why we should even consider playing Powell, besides the fact that random bull crap happens sometimes. That's the only reason why, as of right now, I'm not Xing him out. He hasn't done anything all year long. We'll see. I'll dig into it later and see if we actually need to play him. I don't think we will. With Paul George back, it just doesn't seem like something we have to do. Reggie Jackson, John Wall, they've been splitting minutes, so that kind of makes them less exciting. Aaron Wiggins is projecting all right. Might get a little bit of exposure there. On a 4-game slate, I don't like to X out too many guys because you'll see like throughout the year that it's totally possible to have a nuts winning lineup with like one or sometimes even two snowflakes. So it's totally possible that you don't like it's totally possible that you can have some duds show up and you still do fine. Powell smash tonight. I'm not saying that. Don't put that on me, Kenny. Don't start putting that out there. I'm just saying it feels like that's just what happens sometimes in DFS. It's just like random bullcrap happens and you're just like, why? Powell hasn't scored more than 15 points all season. If he did score well, it wouldn't make any sense. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to brainstorm that today and figure out what I want to do with that situation. Probably not going to play him. Dustin mentioned, I would like to say in one contest last night, DFS Army finished 2nd, 4th, and 6th. That's badass. That really is badass, man. I didn't even know that happened. That's incredible. Freaking crushing it, everybody. I love it. Freaking love it. And yeah, so we talked about this game a good bit already. I think Paul George is in play. He was sick. He had some sort of illness. As long as he's coming back fine, he shouldn't even be too popular. With no Kawhi, he should have a ton of usage on this team. Might be a little bit of a sneaky play. Spread's a little wide, but it's not awful. I might get a little bit of exposure to Steph today, but I'm not going to force it. Jimmy Butler's been pretty meh this year, but we've seen studs have big games and tougher matchups like this one should be. Bam. I'm so tired of talking about Bam Adebayo. Apparently, he's been slightly better so far over the last few games. He just hasn't been remarkable. Tyler Hero has been crushing this year. Max Strus has had some good games. I like Tyler Hero in the spot. You would think he has to have a solid game for this game to stay close, just with all the shooters. Don Juan says, I believe that there is value for Miami and Sacramento bench better than Clippers bench. Yeah, Clippers, they have a lot more depth than they used to. You know, they used to be a team that we could target, and you would see some of these guys like Batum and who am I thinking about? And Kennard, and man, you would see them on winning lineups all the time, just kind of randomly, because they were just bench guys that just randomly went off that night. But now they just have so much depth that doesn't happen as much. With the Heat, let's just look at the Heat in particular. Yeah, Caleb Martin has had a few big games. I've been well, I was on Martin last time just because thanks chat for that actually, because they were talking to me about how he was starting. So another benefit to DFS Army. We definitely have like a news channel who provides it, but when I'm live, I don't see that. So chat was great at just kind of keeping me in the loop on that. Let's see, bench players. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some value options down here that you could target, like in this $5,000 range. Kyle Lowry has been slightly better. Hard to trust him just at his age, but he's looked decent. Yeah, definitely some solid value options down here. We'll look at the Sacramento Kings. I feel like they're probably a similar situation. For some reason, when it comes to the Warriors, the only one that end up playing is Jordan Poole. Draymond Green had a good game, a decent game against the... Appreciate you, man. Draymond Green had a decent game against the Suns. I watched that game. He was much more... he had a much more offensive mindset than we normally see from Draymond. I'm not expecting him to have that kind of game. Draymond's always pretty cheap, so you can catch him at a value sometimes, like we did last time in the Suns game. I'm not expecting that same kind of production in this matchup, at least as of right now. I might still get some exposure. We'll see, but I'm not loving this matchup. Same with Curry. Wiggins is always a bit of a wild card. Poole is probably the safest bet for me as of right now. You will want to think about some of these extra pieces like James Wiseman, maybe even a JaMychal Green. We've seen him have a ceiling game. You just want to kind of think about some of these spots where you might want to get a little bit of exposure for like your last tournament low-owned winning position. That's usually what it takes. It's just one of those weird spots. Last game of the night. Thankfully, we have 2 games at 10. I don't know why 2 games at 10 p.m. I don't know. I just think it's a lot better than just having one game. I just like not having all of that pressure of the night in your tournaments surrounding one game until like the last minute. Then it's fine. But I like being able to go back and forth a little bit. I don't know. Weird, but keeps me interested. Yeah, Don Juan, best team to fade against Miami. No running, gunning. Okay. Yeah, Dustin, we talked about it. Powell, I'm not Xing him out yet, and everyone's against him, but stud off a dud usually refers to like actual studs. So like Ja Morant having a bad game, and then the next game coming out he'll have a big one. But I do think the theory, that line of thinking is still appropriate for situations like this, because sometimes like these non-studs go off the day after or the next game they play, instead of the one where we were all on them. We'll see. We'll talk about it later. Last game on the slate, we have Ja Morant. Decent spot. He's getting up there in price. But with Dylan Brooks coming last game, a lot of people got off him due to usage and things of that sort. But Ja Morant can have stealing games whenever the hell he wants to. So he's a fine play. He's in play. This game should be pretty back and forth. So no issues using him. Keegan Murray should be pretty popular today. If he's not popular, I'd be surprised. He started last time. He saw a ton of minutes. I wouldn't be shocked if they do that again. And assuming they do, he's in a great spot for that. Desmond Bane, I doubt I'll have as much exposure to with Brooks back. He had a great game last time with Brooks, but his shot was falling pretty well. He was 8 for 11 in that game. I doubt we'll see that again. You know, that doesn't happen every day for him. So I doubt I'll be super high on him, but does look like the matchup's pretty good. But we'll see. There's a lot of fringe guys on Memphis and the Kings. So like Don Juan mentioned earlier, there are definitely times where there's definitely going to be some value in here that we can play around with a little bit. Like Brandon Clark's a little sneaky. The Kings, I need to look into the rotation a bit more to see who I feel comfortable with, just because they have a lot of names, you know, a lot of guys that you've considered playing in the past. And I need to just make sure that their minutes are secure to make sure that, you know, just that we're playing guys in a smart way. All right, Dustin said, you also need to rearrange time for pre-lock on days they do NFL too. I don't do good under pressure, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to change the pre-lock show to 4 p.m. on Fridays. And then the tournament tactics show for NFL will be at 5 p.m. Yeah, you're telling me, like, I'm on the pre-lock show. That show usually goes like an hour and a half to 2 hours. If it's an hour and a half, it's fine. But when, like, last week, we were hitting 7 while we were doing the show, and I was trying to make lineups while still doing the show for NFL. So it was a little tough. Thankfully, there's 4 people on it, so all the pressure's not on me all the time. Sneaky play hoarder, yeah. Like, these are just good spots for the Kings in general. My only issue with hoarder is just that, like, there's Harrison Barnes there's a Malik Monk. There's a lot of mouths to feed, and that's why I need to dig into it a bit more. You could be right about hoarder. I just need to, you know, verify for myself. Aaron asks, Josiah, what do you think about fading players on back-to-back games for teams that had a night off? There's a lot of philosophies around back-to-back games. I think I have probably one of the more, like, popular ones where I ideally would I like to avoid bigs on back-to-backs. Outside of Jokic, like, Jokic does fine on back-to-backs 9 times out of 10. On occasion, he'll have, like, some down nights, like most players have, like, slightly down nights, but they can still take down tournaments for you. I don't overthink back-to-backs is probably the long story short. When you want more exposure of certain players, what do you boost? It depends. If you check out the pre-lock show, you'll see that I boost the exposure mins. On occasion, I'll change the projections themselves just to try to get a little bit of a boost from that standpoint. Dustin mentioned pre-lock show should be earlier with games starting at 7. Need to adjust them lineups. Love it at 4 all week. Yeah, Dustin, unfortunately, just with my life and timing, I just can't go earlier. Gatsby, big fan of Strus tonight. Yeah, I mean, Strus and Hero have been crushing, man. I'll see which way I'm leaning later today. But I don't disagree with you. Taco, good to see you, man. Tonight's the night Fox gets eliminated from the Battle Royale. We'll see. That Battle Royale is really cool, actually. I loved it. But Memphis, the pace of this game, I wouldn't be shocked if he can hit value. It wouldn't shock me. There are a lot of mouths to feed on that Kings team, though. like I've said like 10 times over, which does worry me a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. TBD. Aaron Dina. All right. Cool. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone joining today. Really want to see everyone at the pre-lock show. We'll have a lot more information. We'll know what we're doing. We'll have more information. We'll be ready to take down some tournaments tonight. It's a 4-gamer. We're going to do it. Kenny, thank you for letting me know Joe Harris is out tonight. That doesn't shift too much for me. And I'm just kind of taking your word for it. I don't know if that's official or not. We'll see later. Yeah. Like Fox is fine. Fox is fine. Kenny mentioned Joe Harris. Where's Joe? Looks like okay. Joe Harris is here. Yeah, I don't think that changes too much for me. But I'll look at the last game and just kind of figure it out from there. Is Zubac in play? Yeah, I mean, Zubac freaking crushed last game, right? So that's what leaves him in play. He's just a very volatile player, you know. Zubac will have plenty of minutes, crush, see the court plenty of time, and then the next game only play 20 minutes. For no rhyme or reason to us, at least. So it just depends on how you see this game playing. I'm guessing that most people are probably going to try to chase Zubac a little bit, so I have a feeling I'll be under. But there aren't a ton of just like standout center plays today, so we'll see. Very TBD. Good. Harris is out. Doesn't change much for me, but it does give us something else we want to dig a little bit deeper into. Anyway, peace, guys. It's been great. Remember to like and subscribe. Comment your favorite potential 8x player today. I'm just curious to see what everyone else is thinking about this slate. All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Look forward to seeing you guys at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Peace.